Hi everyone, Dillon from autarc here. We're going to show you the autarc software, give you a brief run through so that you guys can onboard yourselves if and when needed. We're opening up and we have the home page here. This is essentially a summary page highlighting all the key pieces of information that you as an installer manager would need to keep a lid on your organization. You can see here projects broken down on a month by month basis. Total value of any completed projects can be shown in this section here. You can also break up the projects based on location, and then you can see the different projects that you're working with down in the project section below. Navigating over to the left-hand side now, you can see the customers section here. This is essentially a breakdown of all the different customers that you're working with within your organization at any one time. So you can see here contact details of the customer, the projects related to the customer, and then even the customer ID so we can track them throughout the software. In the project section, very similar. We have a breakdown of the different projects that you guys are working with on a regular basis. You can see here the name of the project, the customer they're related to, the stage of the project, the status of the project, and then the owner of the project as well. So which team member of yours is currently responsible for this project. The offers section also looks quite similar. You can see here breakdown of the different offers and proposals that have been sent out to your customers. For example, here you can see the sum of the offer, the customer it's related to, the project in question, then again, the creator of the offer itself. So which one of your team members sent this out to a customer. We have a product section. The idea behind this section is that you can choose which products you work with on a regular basis from our database, which has over 182,000 different products in it. You can see here the database. You select the products you work with on a regular basis. If they aren't in the database, you can add them here manually. And the idea being that every time you start a new project, the tools that you work with will automatically be uploaded, ready for you to use. We have a team section. The idea behind this is if you have a larger team with lots of installers or surveyors underneath you, then you can delegate tasks to different team members, manage responsibilities all within one platform. The check section is essentially where the efficiency gains start on our platform. It's essentially a pre-qualification tool where you get to ask additional questions to customers before even realizing the lead is in your inbox. The idea being that the customers can answer the questions, give you additional information about a site or a project so that you know and have that peace of mind that every lead that you deal with is a revenue generating lead. If I were to open this up quickly, you can see here on the right-hand side a demo. You can see on the left-hand side the customization area, including the questions that we pre-select for you. The flow for the user would look something like this. You can then save that down, add it to your website, share the link with the customer, and send it over to them directly. In the project section, if I were to open up a demo, you can see here you start with an overview page. The idea behind this is a summary of all the key pieces of information related to a project. So you're thinking details of the project, location of the project, customer details, all of that can be found within the overview section. The planning section is where you're going to spend most of your time. This is essentially heat loss calculation and solar and design and analysis tools. In this section here, under the heating dropdown, you can see here data collection for the heat loss calculation, we have pre-qualification data, technical feasibility check, room by room data collection for the heat loss, and then down here you have analysis and interpretation of that data. In the solar PV section, you can see here you have, again, the pre-qualification data collection, in addition to the design and analysis tool that we provide. In the reporting section, you can see all the different reports that you've generated throughout the different data collection stages. All of them can be found in this area here. The documents section is, again, a summary of all the different documents that you've either created or collected during your time on site. If I were to open up the planning section now, go into the heating and show you the room by room data collection, you can see here information about the building data, the components of the property, so any heating circuits, thermostatic valves, are existing in this section. You can also add central U values in this section as well, based on the different properties that you might find within a property. Moving on to the next section, you can see here the room by room survey. The idea being that this looks like a completed project here, one that I've done earlier where I've walked around a house, used our LiDAR scanner to collect all the different pieces of information that are required for the heat loss calculation. If I were to open one of these up, for example, you can see the 3D model of the room that we just scanned. It's located the doors, it's located any windows, and you can see here underneath the window, there is also an emitter that's been detected. The output of the AI emitter detector has told us the height and the length of the emitter, as well as the standard output of that emitter. On the left-hand side, during the LiDAR scan, this area is automatically filled in based on the information that's being collected. You also have the ability to add additional special features into a room, and get more specific in terms of view values. You can do that on a room by room basis here. Once a room is completed, you can click on next room and then jump over into the next room and continue the LiDAR scan. Once you've completed a property, it'll look something like this. At this point, you can move over into the summary section, press agree, and then you can create customer-facing reports off the back of the information. So you can see here one that I made earlier. Here's a cover page with some branding. In addition to information about project details, heating load based on consumption method, as well as the room-by-room heat loss calculations, heat pump design, in addition to sizing, and then any heating surfaces within the property that the AI has picked up. You can download this report, or you can share it with your customers directly in the platform. No need to download it, take it over to an email, and send it out there. Everything can be done within the autarc software. In addition to this, we have emitter sizing features, so you can set the flow temperature of the different radiators or emitters within a property, and then you can pre-select whether or not an emitter is going to be suitable for that property. You can also replace emitters manually like so, or you can use our AI replacement tool, which usually shows up here. That's an overview of the heating section. Now let's move on to the solar PV planning section. Remember, we have the data collection here. This has already been done. And what I'm going to do is open up the design and analysis tool. Quickly get rid of this. We give our customers the opportunity to use things like Google Maps, Google Earth, Ortho Maps in order to build software to build solar PV systems on top of. However, we find it's much more useful to give our customers drones so that they can take custom imagery like the one that you can see here. The idea behind this is it's much crisper, and you have that peace of mind that any design that you create on top of this is going to be accurate and pinpoint. It starts with the reference line. The idea being that if you can measure one area of the roof, like so, let's say we know this is 6 meters, you can save that down, set the orientation, and then the image will automatically scale based on the information that you've just provided. So you can see here, we've done the image setup now. Let's jump over to system design, click on the add button, open up the roof design, and start mapping out the roof area where we want the solar panels to exist. Once that's complete, you can see here the measurements are automatically pulled through. You have an additional section where you can add information with regards to the roof. If you want to include a setback at this point, you can do that as well, and it's automatically taken through into the image on the right-hand side. In addition to roof design, you might want to incorporate any exclusion zones, windows, or chimneys that exist on the roof. There's some kind of air conditioning unit here, so what I'm going to do is map that out, and then it won't be included in any of the solar panel placements that we're about to do. Once I'm happy with the site, I can actually start adding the system itself. You can see here I've clicked on Implement Solar Panel, and this window has automatically been brought up. The idea behind this is any product that you select in the product section of our database will automatically be pulled through here. So if you have a particular solar panel that you work with on a regular basis, you can select it, it'll show up in this section here, and then it can be used in the project. If it's not the solar panel you want to use for this particular project, you can click back onto the product section, either select a new one from our database, add one manually, and then once you're happy, you can jump back to solar planning, select it, and then you'll be ready to go. We have two different options in terms of solar panel placement. We have the place manually section, where you go around an image like this. You can also edit and move them around. This is for smaller domestic products, we find. However, let's say you're doing a larger commercial site, you have the ability to automatically place as many solar panels as possible within a given area. So you can see here, I've hovered over the image and automatically it's placed down two solar panels on my behalf. I still have the ability to move these around, increase any measurements between the two, but the idea is if you're working with a larger site, there's a small efficiency gain there in terms of time saved. Once you've completed the design, you'll be left with something similar to this. You can imagine here, you want to interpret the system, simulate the system before you send it out to a customer. Well, you have the ability to do that. If you're to open up the actions page and then click on simulate system, you can see here, you get information with regards to the energy flow, and then more customer facing metrics like profitability over time, and then bill savings broken down on a month-by-month basis. You have the ability to add any additional pieces of information that you want, like energy cost increases, for example, any discount rates. All of that can be included in this section here. Once you're happy with that, you can send out the customer a proposal. You can see here on the left-hand side information with regards to the customer, the solar system that you're implementing, as well as the customization section, which allows you to take out or include anything that you like in terms of what you can see on the right-hand side. This is a demo example of a proposal. If I scroll down, you can see it's a nice customer-facing document summarizing the information that we've already seen or designed in the previous section. Information about the solar panels, information about any heat pumps, and then the profitability over time, finishing off with the monthly bill savings broken down on a month-by-month basis. If you weren't ready to send out a proposal yet, you can always use the create offer section here, which essentially allows you to create different offers to be sent out to customers. Think of this as kind of a precursor to the proposal. You can see here a summary of all the different costings that you would need. You are able to go in and manage these if you like, add a margin. You also have the ability to customize these documents, as you can see down here. The example on the right-hand side shows you have a cover page and then the offer form as well. You can share this with your customer within the software. You don't need to download it and take it elsewhere. You can do it all from one place. And that is a brief overview of the software system in terms of how the HVAC side works, the heat pump side, and the solar PV planning and design tool. Thank you very much.